think it's time we lower the American flag to half-mast and raise the false flag high and with pride. Because just 6 days after the massacre in Atlanta, there's been yet another mass shooting on US soil. Does anybody smell bullshit? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, and it was probably a white guy's fault. Which is precisely the assumption that was made by Blue Check Team Psychosis shortly after news broke that there was a live shooter in a supermarket in Colorado. Kamala Harris's niece tweeted, "The Atlanta shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country." Julie wrote a book DeCaro stated that she is extremely tired of people's lives depending on whether a white man with an AR-15 is having a good day or not. Uzair Rizvi, a journalist who claims to debunk misinformation, tweeted that the shooter was only apprehended and not choked or shot to death because he was not brown, black, or Muslim. Welcome to journalism in 2021, folks, where feelings are facts and facts are minor inconveniences. Like the inconvenient fact that the shooter was both Muslim and not white. He was a Syrian immigrant with supposed ISIS sympathies. Interesting that less than a month after Biden bombed Syria, the invisible Middle Eastern boogeyman comes back from the dead. But that's not the only predetermined takeaway from this tragedy. It's also glaringly obvious that the enemy the media wants you focused on is guns. How do we know that guns are to blame rather than a racist hate crime? Well, because all 10 of the shooter's victims were white. And if this year has taught me anything, it's that you cannot target a white person with a hate crime. It also taught me that there's no such thing as reverse racism, and that Black Lives Matter, Asian hate must stop, but kill a whitey and it's alrighty. Joe Biden may often forget where he left his keys or how to operate his legs, but he will never forget the mantra of all corrupt politicians. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And not only did he ensure that this crisis didn't go to waste, he also wasted no time in exploiting it for political gain. Less than 48 hours after the shooting, our old pal Joe called for sweeping gun control, pointing to a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines and increased measures for background checks. How perfectly convenient. So now you might be asking yourself, well, what's the big deal? What's the problem with disarming the citizens of a country? Won't it make them safer? It's a very good question. Why don't you get out your Ouija board and ask the 1 million Armenians how safe they felt after they were disarmed but before they were genocided? Or the 6,000 Native Americans who died on the Trail of Tears? Or the 2 million Cambodians killed by Pol Pot? Or the 24 million Russians killed by Stalin? In this current social climate rife with genocidal language, like whiteness is a virus and anti-vaxxers are a national health threat, I'd be especially vigilant when it comes to policies that aim to render Americans defenseless. Because history has taught us that the only reason the government would want to disarm you is that they're about to do something you would shoot them for.